What if your AI assistants actually knew how to build an Arbitrum? Not guessing at APIs, not hallucinating function names, actually knew the stack. Today I'm walking through a tool that makes that real and why it matters way beyond just writing code faster.
This is the full stack for building a dApp on Arbitrum, a Stylus Rust contract compiled to WebAssembly for the backend, a React frontend with wagmi and viem for wallet integration, a local dev node for testing, and Foundry for deployment scripts. Every layer uses different patterns, different APIs, different conventions. When you ask an AI assistant for help, it guesses. Sometimes the guess is close, sometimes it hallucinates a function that does not exist, or wires up a hook with the wrong API format. The gap between knowing a stack exists and knowing how to use it correctly, that gap is where most developer time actually goes. The fix is not better prompting, it is better context. The Arbitrum dApp skill is a structured reference that loads directly into Claude Code, not a chatbot, not a plugin. A set of markdown files covering the full Stylus plus React stack, from storage patterns to deployment commands. When Claude has this context loaded, it stops guessing. It references actual SDK types, actual function signatures, actual deployment flags. The skill file itself acts as a decision tree. It looks at what you're building, whether you need Stylus or Solidity or both, and routes to the right patterns. Every code example in the skill compiles, every command runs. Here's what Stylus contract code actually looks like. Storage is declared with the storage attribute macro. You define your state as a struct using SDK types like storage U256 and storage map. Public methods use the public attribute and take a mutable reference to storage. The SDK handles all the API encoding for you. Cross-contract calls use a trait pattern. You define an interface trait, then call it through a typed proxy with the caller's address. No raw API encoding, no manual selectors. The skill gives Claude these exact patterns, so when you say build me a token contract, it writes code that actually compiles against the Stylus SDK. The front-end reference covers the wagmi plus viem integration for connecting to Stylus contracts. One gotcha that trips up almost everyone. When you configure wagmi for a local Arbitrum dev node, you need to set the RPC transport URL explicitly. The default chain config will not find your local node. The skill also covers the coarse proxy pattern for dev node connections, the correct API format that Stylus contracts export, and how to wire up read and write hooks with proper error handling. These are the kind of details that are invisible until they break your build. But there is a bigger picture here. Stylus is not just a better way to write contracts. It is infrastructure that makes AI workloads viable on-chain. RedStone rebuilt their Oracle price feeds in Stylus and measured 34% lower gas for reads and 50% lower gas for writes compared to Solidity. ERC 804 proposes on-chain identity for AI agents built on Stylus because agent verification needs to be cheap and fast. And X402, the HTTP payment protocol, uses Stylus contracts to handle micropayments between AI agents and API providers. These are not hypothetical projects, they are shipping. Stylus plus AI is already a production pattern. Install the skill with one command, just curl the install script and run it. From that point, every Arbitrum project you start has the full stack reference loaded. AI helps you write Stylus contracts correctly. Stylus makes AI infrastructure viable on-chain. Each side accelerates the other. That is the feedback loop. And this skill is how you start using it today.
The Arbitrum dApp skill is open source and free. Install it, start building, and let AI and Stylus accelerate each other. Link in the description. If you found this useful, subscribe for more deep dives into what's shipping on Arbitrum.